Alright, so this is going to be another movie review. This one's called From One Second to the Next, 2013. It's going to be another documentary by Werner Herzog. This time the cell phone companies decided to do this 34-minute public service announcement propaganda thing on texting while driving. The notion that the stupid people who text all day long, even while they're driving, are going to give it up is rather naive at best. But the ending was kind of funny when the guy said, I don't understand why people can't just talk to each other. Wow, there's actually a normal person living in Ogden, Utah, or wherever. He's the only normal guy in this movie. Everybody else is just hysterical crying and the carnage that occurs. They say in the movie there are 100,000 deaths per year and climbing. The climbing part is the idiocy of United States people who constantly look down at their cell phones. They don't watch where they're going. They don't watch the road or the people around them. They're in their own little fantasy world of, oh, I can't put a Bluetooth in my ear and call this person. I'll just keep pressing the buttons until I hit somebody on the road. So it's that kind of mentality, and they don't realize what they've done until, the hospital bills come in. In one instance, the teenager only had $50,000 liability. I mean, we're talking bare minimum liability coverage, and that comes out of ignorance for let's. Not only are they ignorant texting, but they're also ignorant when it comes to understanding how insurance works. They select the lowest deductible possible and the lowest limits of liability possible. So this woman's got $1 million in hospital bills. And the liability coverage is only $50,000. That's more of an indictment on people's ignorance of insurance, how it should work in practice. Not how does this affect my pocket when I'm living paycheck to paycheck kind of thing, or don't have a job. My parents are supporting me. I have no money kind of thing. So it was depressing. I didn't like the music in this. There's none of Werner Herzog's narration in this film. It's just people talking about, mowing down the Amish buggy with 3 kids in it. Lady goes in a coma, breaks all the bones in her body, gets a severe concussion. She can't work anymore. She's permanently disabled. And there's a kid who's on a respirator. He can't breathe on his own, which is a bummer. So that's a very depressing look at stupid people constantly looking at their phones. They can't even figure out how to drive safely on the road. And then they don't feel sorry for for the victims until after the fact when it's too late. So there's that. I don't really care to see this kind of stuff. I mean, this is more of a liability issue. Like I said, between the car insurance company and the victims. And the larger issue is the impact on the lives of the victim's family. It's certainly devastating to have a death in the family, and I certainly don't care to watch people, crying and feeling sorry for each other. As long as there's life, there's still hope. So if some family members are still alive, I don't know. It's tough. Everybody goes through tough phases, but I don't like to watch that kind of thing for 30 minutes, especially if it's not geared towards me, because I got nobody to text. Anyway, yeah, texting while driving. I never do it unless I'm parked or something. And then the thing with the cell phone in California, it's illegal to talk to on your cell phone unless you have a Bluetooth. So I just turn on the speakerphone, man. Cops can't see it. And just keep driving. I mean, texting is more dangerous than talking to a speakerphone because your eyes are still on the road. It's just like the same thing as if you have a Bluetooth. So I don't understand that law, but anyways, I guess you have to look down to press this speakerphone button. Maybe that's it. I don't know. That's about all I have to say about this movie. Like I said, I found it very depressing. The violins and the crying were a little bit too much. But that's why they hired Werner Herzog to do this documentary. He's good at... he's got a flair for dramatics in his documentaries. And... making a mountain out of a molehill, so to speak. Not that these families' lives are anything less than important than any other human lives, but anyways, it's unfortunate that people are so dumb they don't watch where they're driving. And I hope that never happens to me and my family, but never know. There's a small possibility that anything can happen. That's why I try to carry too much insurance. Because the possibility switch is always on, so to speak. But I'm probably more likely to get killed by something else. For instance, I think there are 500,000 deaths per year from earthquakes in the world. So it's not just texting while driving. There's not much you can do about that if the other person is going to be reckless. Drinking while driving or texting while driving. The laws here in California don't prevent those things from happening necessarily. But you can prepare for earthquakes by keeping a first aid kit in your car, picking a central location for your family to meet, securing the dressers to the wall so they don't tip over and crush your kid, that kind of thing. That's the easy stuff. The stuff you can't control. I don't think people have much say in it, especially if the driver only has 50,000 liability protection. That's a joke. What's that? You know, pay for maybe a couple months in the hospital when somebody's in a coma. Maybe 1 to 2 months, maybe. I mean, come on. Anyways, I guess under Obamacare, there are no limits on the hospital stays, so the sky's the limit, I guess. But I guess the medical insurer has to pick up the tab now. This film was made in 2013. I think that's right around the time when Obamacare kicked in with the unlimited hospitalization visits kind of thing. So that's about all I have to say about this movie. I'm not against this movie as a public service announcement per se. I'm just saying the people that it's targeting probably won't watch it. They're probably not big fans of documentaries or Werner Herzog direction. Let's say I could be wrong, but anyways, I guess they were using him more for his talent than his name recognition per se, which is understandable. I mean, I would have picked the same kind of director for a documentary. He's got such a good reputation for it. And I've actually enjoyed some of his documentaries. I've hated some of his other ones, but anyways, he seems to be prolific at it, especially during the past, 5 years. So I just didn't enjoy watching it. Number one, it's not targeted to me. And number two, it just shows the idiocy of people out there, constantly looking down at their phones. Like the guy said, why can't people just talk to each other? That about summed up my attitude towards this movie. And it was the very end of the movie, not coincidentally. So, anyways, not a great flick. I just liked it. But fortunately, it's only 30 minutes, so I can move on to the next one. I'm in this patch on my instant queue, Werner Herzog movies, if you haven't noticed. I got Howard the Duck on the way next week. So look forward to that. And so I can get these European directors out of the way. Start watching some more of the good stuff, like maybe a little women in prison type stuff, rated X stuff. The normal stuff that I usually watch. So let's see. I got to work next week, so probably won't get a chance to review much stuff until a week from today. But my portable DVD player and a laptop here, so try to get a few of them in there, see how it goes. Hope you're enjoying your weekend. Have a nice evening. Laters.